What a great job, as always, by Michael Kelly as the fans continue to flow into the arena here at the Fitz Casino and Hotel in Tunica, Mississippi, Robinsonville to be exact. But we are in Tunica County, just across the border from Tennessee. And we begin with a V3Fights featherweight division battle between Cameron Zane McLove Phillips, who will be making his amateur debut, and Adryan Grundy. And here comes Phillips from Covington, Tennessee, fighting for High Octane.
High Octane's got some pretty decent athletes there. Parker Inman, who's fought for us quite a few times. Daniel Byram, who made his pro debut with us. Interested to see what he's doing. We haven't seen him yet. They're doing a special catch weight, 150 pounds, so I'm excited to see what he can do. They're mostly known for their jiu-jitsu, their ground game at High Octane, so we're going to see what he's got.
He'll be cornered by Jerry Mason, his coach, and Darian Bradshaw. He trains with Bradshaw. He also trains with professional fighter Daniel Byram. He has trained off and on with Joel Cooper, a former V3 amateur champion. He's also trained with the guy who will be on the main event tonight, and that's Ryan Red Hot Collins. And let me correct myself, Adryan Grundy, who has been working off and on with Ryan Collins and with Joe Cooper. So there he is. They call him Zane McLove, Cameron Phillips, and his debut right here in Tunica. And now let's get set to meet his adversary, Adryan Grundy from Jackson, Tennessee, and Fight Shop.
Like he pointed out, Ryan Collins is one of his teammates. They're out in Jackson, Tennessee. They do some great work out there. They've got a lot of, they really are the school to be at in Jackson. They are very well-rounded grinders, so I'm excited to see what Ryan Collins has taught Adryan.
Grundy, coached by Connor Reif and Reese Davis, will be cornered by the same two. Played football and soccer for Jackson Central Mary in high school. Says what makes me interesting is the energy and the realness I bring to the game. So as we await the arrival of Adryan Grundy, let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this first battle between Phillips and Grundy. There you see Grundy from Jackson, Tennessee, and Phillips from Covington, Tennessee. So here's the tail of the tape. Once again, Phillips making his debut, 5'9", 150-pounder, an 18-year-old MMA fighter with a 72-inch reach. And for Grundy, 0-1, looking for that first victory. 5'10", 150 pounds, a jiu-jitsu fighter. He's 20 years of age, and 70 inches is his reach. So a couple of guys that don't have a lot of experience, very young, trying to make a mark for themselves. And it starts tonight for Phillips, making his debut. And as I said, for Grundy, trying to even his mark at 1-1. Eric McMahon will be the third man inside the cage for this battle. Now let's meet the two as we go inside the cage and Michael Kelly.
Try to count me out, I guess they thought I was normal. They ain't know I was different. I like Lil be my witness, cause we're not them dishes in my grandmama kitchen. Get a pigeon, do the vision.
V3 Legion, this opening bout is brought to you by Alliance MMA. And it's set for three-minute rounds in the 150-pound catchweight division. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action, the third man in the cage, will be Eric McMahon. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the royal blue trunks with gray and yellow trim at 5 feet 9 inches. He weighed in at 150 pounds, an all-around fighter, representing High Octane MMA and fighting out of Covington, Tennessee, Cameron Zane McLove Phillips. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the orange corner. He wears the black trunks with the white trim at 5 feet 10 inches. He weighed in at 150 pounds, a jiu-jitsu fighter, representing Fight Shop MMA, and fighting out of Jackson, Tennessee, Adryan Grundy.
Thank you very much, Michael Kelly. This catchweight 150-pound battle between Phillips and Grundy. And we're here in Mississippi, and the rules for the amateurs and the pros are the same.
Absolutely.
We'll go over those rules in just a second. This scheduled for three-minute rounds. Round one, here we go on V3 Fights and Flow Combat.
Unlike the people that see us in Tennessee, where amateurs cannot throw elbow strikes of any kind or knees to the face, here in Mississippi, they can.
You saw Phillips go down, but then he popped right back up. Nice knee from Phillips. Again, making his debut, but it's Grundy putting the pressure on him on the side of the cage.
Grundy just kind of trying to grapple here a little bit. You saw Cameron grab the cage, but Eric McMahon was on that quickly.
Off the break, nice little 1-2 from Phillips. Kick to the waist of Grundy. Grundy went high up top, missed, and a nice little combination there from Phillips.
Was definitely a nice high kick, but he kind of put his head down to throw some more punches, and Phillips was able to recover and kind of size him up a little bit.
That was a nice counter. Now a couple of uppercuts by Grundy. Grundy connects on a few. Now trying to get some leverage.
Looks like he's really just trying to load that right hand up. Instead of throwing some jabs and setting it up, he just wants to load it.
You saw the spinning back kick by Phillips off the mark.
He's putting his head down, Grundy is, when he's coming in, which if Phillips sees that, he's going to throw an uppercut.
Oh, big right there by Grundy after the initial kick by Phillips. The two now in a clinch in the middle of the cage. Let's see if Grundy tries to get a takedown here on Phillips, and he does. Ball's right on top and immediately goes into full mount.
Puts himself right in a mount, good position against the cage, but sometimes these guys can use that cage as a little bit of leverage on the ground to get themselves back up.
Approaching a minute to go in this first round.
Let's see what Phillips has on the ground to defend himself. There we see those elbows. He threw that elbow, but got himself off balance, and Phillips is right back up.
How about the quick movement by Phillips on the ground? First of all, to avoid the elbow, and then to stand it back up.
Grundy is really committing to these punches.
Nice knee there from Grundy.
Just like that elbow, he threw it so hard and wanted it to land so bad that he wasn't able to defend the roll when he missed.
You always got to be ready for the counter.
Looks like Grundy was grabbing the cage a little bit there.
Eric McMahon will be the referee for all 9 fights. In fact, they go to the ground with 30 seconds to go in the round.
Another takedown, but good scramble by Phillips to not wind up being mounted again. Now right here, there's where those knees to the face can come into place. Grundy's keeping his head up, keeping good posture. You saw Eric McMahon warn him not to grab the trunks of Phillips.
10 seconds to go in round number 1.
Grundy's grabbing the fence.
Can't do that, can't grab the trunks. A lot of grabbing going on. He misses on that combination. Phillips fights back, and that'll end the first round. A pretty interesting round, a lot of action from the get-go.
Definitely was. These didn't look like an 0-1
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome V3 cage girl Haley.
Here we see some of the action from the first round.
You know, Grundy kind of scored that little knockdown with a kick. He had a couple more takedowns, but he was never able to execute anything on the ground. You see that high kick, but as I pointed out, he put his head down and came in with some punches. He's really trying to just land something really, really big, which tells me his striking is limited. There you see him there just kind of trying to size him up for one big punch. Scores a takedown, but Phillips is able to counter it all and get back on his feet.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of that first round was Grundy on the attack, Phillips countering, but I thought a pretty even round. We won't be making the decision if it goes to the cards. That will be up to Scott House, Jimbo Surratt, and Grant Gibbs. Your timekeeper is Jason Polly. Your physician at cage side is Dr. Brett Sokoloff. Your cut girl is Crystal Moreau, and the cut man is Trip Henderson. And the fights are sanctioned by the Mississippi Athletic Commission. Mike Kane, good friend of V3 Fights, is here presiding. So they close up the gate. We get ready for round number 2 in this first battle of 9 tonight here at the Fitz. Again, this is a catchweight 150-pound battle between Phillips and Grundy.
Looks like we got some water on the surface, which can cause a slipping hazard. Referee Eric McMahon is getting that cleaned up. Obviously, the most important job he has is to keep the fighters safe.
And here we go for round number 2. V3 Fights. Great action in the first round. Let's see if it continues here in round number 2. Two guys that have the experience of one fight between them. Now, Grundy slipped.
That's why they try to get that water cleaned up. even a little bit can pose a slipping hazard for fighters.
Love the speed of Phillips. You saw that combination, right, left, and then the kick. Tries a hook there. Grundy's able to back away. Phillips, nice lead right, and then again, the combination. Oh, nice lead right by Grundy, and then the left hook. Phillips fights back now. Wild kick, use and ahs from the crowd here at the Fitz, but it was off the mark.
See, Phillips really putting more than one thing together. He'll throw a couple punches, he'll throw a kick, where Grundy's content with just trying to load up and throw one punch at a time.
Another spinning back kick there by Phillips, pretty much blocked by Grundy. That's a great point, Jason. You see a lot more combinations coming from Phillips. Now they're in a clinch. They tangle here in round number 2. Two young guys in the fight game, and young numerically as well, an 18-year-older in Phillips, a 20-year-older in Grundy. Out of the clinch, Phillips with the lead right. Now Grundy backs away.
Grundy's really just telegraphing what he's going to do with these punches. And if it's not a haymaker, he just doesn't throw it.
How about that? Down goes Phillips. Now Grundy comes in to see if he can do some damage. As Grundy was going for, I don't know if it was a Superman kick. Nice lead left by Grundy, and a right on the kisser. Nice combination there. Started with the left and the right. Phillips fights back though. Walked right into another left from Grundy. Now Grundy is able to take this one down to the mat. Grundy with side control.
Grundy's getting that arm trap, but again, he's not keeping enough pressure on Phillips, and Phillips is able to sort of recover from here. We may see some exhaustion setting in from Phillips, being his first fight. Doesn't really know how to pace himself for it.
Well, half minute to go in round 2. There's a shiner under the right eye of Phillips. Now Grundy waiting for him to come up. Is he going to let him? No. Now he's going to kick with under 20 to go.
Now remember, that bottom opponent can actually still strike to the head with an up kick.
Absolutely. Phillips, you knew you were going to take one once you stand up, and he did, but he only took one, not a combination. Final seconds here in round number 2.
Grundy trying to throw those knees to the face, but he's not controlling the head and neck enough to get it done.
I think your point from earlier is well taken. With Phillips, we've seen combinations. With Grundy, very rarely do we see combinations. We see usually one and done, as we see some of the second round action. And right there was his real strong combination for Grundy, but rare. And there you see the two go down.
It was just kind of both knocked each other down. Grundy got a little too aggressive with it. He doesn't want to clinch here. He wants to keep a little distance because he's striking effectively.
Well, that was a big right leg. I didn't notice that when it was live, that he hit right to the midsection of Phillips and knocked him down. And then he came back with that knee, kind of a flying knee, as he's being talked over by his corner. Connor Reif and Reese Davis in the corner. They're the coaches for Adryan Grundy, trying to even up his record at 1-1. And for two guys that lack experience, this has been pretty darn good.
This has been an exciting fight. Definitely conditioning comes into play here now.
So we will go to a third round, but will we go to the cards, or will this thing end sometime in this round? 3 minutes to decide this one. Round 3, here we go on V3 Fights. Oh, a nice right from Phillips right out of the gate. Looked like Phillips wanted the takedown there. Instead, a shot to the stomach and then a nice knee from Grundy. There's a knee from Phillips. Both these guys are limber, I can tell you that.
But Grundy's really not controlling the head enough on those knees to the face, that Muay Thai clinch. He doesn't even have his hands locked behind his head, so when he throws those knees, he's really not getting much power into him because Phillips just clears his head out of there.
He's had some opportunities, no question about it. Had a good run there in the middle of that second round. Oh, the spinning back fist drills Phillips.
I think he connected with an elbow on it as well.
And then a big slam from Phillips.
Phillips counters with a double and takes him down. This is the first time we've seen Grundy on his back. Let's see what he can do from here. Looks like he might be trying to work a triangle choke.
Right. Wow. 2 minutes to go in the third and decisive round.
So it looked like a great strike by Grundy is followed up by an even more impressive takedown by Phillips.
We have seen the whole arsenal from these two fighters. My gosh. Let's give a shout out to these clubs that they represent. Phillips High Octane and Adryan Grundy, the Fight Shop in Jackson, Tennessee.
Grundy's getting close to being able to lock this up. But he lets it go.
He's going to try again, though.
Into guard. Remember, again, here for amateurs in Mississippi, elbow strikes are legal. And in the only state in the union, using the point of your elbow in a downward motion is legal to strike.
Couple of hammer fists from the back is Grundy trying to keep Phillips at bay. He's tying him up, and he's tied him up pretty well over the last minute. Minute to go in this fight.
Phillips is able to get to side control here.
Right now, Jason, I would think too close to call.
It is close. I'm glad I'm not judging this one.
Well, let's see if somebody can steal this. Now, again, we're not privy to the information that the judges have right now, so we don't know what they're thinking. But to me, it's been a pretty even match, and it's been a very good one.
Phillips trying to step over for full mount. Gets stuck in half guard. Grundy keeping his composure down there.
Most time they've spent on the ground in this fight has been the last 2 minutes of this round. It looks like it may end on the ground. 20 seconds to go.
Grundy trying to throw some elbows, but really nothing behind it.
And Phillips also trying to strike, and nothing behind those punches either. Under 10 to go.
I think if Phillips cuts his hair off, he might be a bantamweight.
That'll do it. We're going to go to the judges' scorecards for this first fight, but that was a whale of a fight. And technically, well done for guys who have combined to fight one time as amateurs.
Absolutely. What an impressive fight to start off this card.
So, unofficially, since you don't have a judges' scorecard, Jason, who would you give this fight to?
You know, I would probably give all 3 rounds to Grundy. Even though the grappling in that third round, you saw Phillips take him down, I think the striking was more effective by Grundy. When we see that spinning elbow that landed, he throws some knees. Not a lot behind him, but he's staying busy. And here comes that elbow right now. Probably the best punch or strike of the fight. But again, immediately followed by Phillips taking him down to the ground and really just controlling the rest of the fight, but not causing any damage, not really doing anything. Grundy was working off his back. Personally, I would give it 3 rounds to Adryan, but if someone told me you gave 3 rounds to Phillips, I wouldn't argue with him either.
I think Grundy had the 2 best strikes in that fight. Not only the spinning back fist, but that kick when they both kind of knocked each other down in the second round. But let's see how the judges feel about this fight. Let's go to Michael Kelly.
V3 Legion, make some noise for both of these warriors. What about? After 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. All 3 judges scoring this one for your winner by unanimous decision, Adryan Grundy.
Well, you called it, my friend. Unanimous decision from the judges. Adryan Grundy gets the win, so he evens his record at 1-1. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to hang your head over for Phillips, because I thought that was a pretty darn good debut.
Absolutely. Can't wait to get this kid back in our cage.
Again, some of the action from this fight, which was really action-packed from the get-go. 12, 15 seconds into this first round. There's that spinning back fist that connected, and then a nice combination. Although Grundy didn't throw a lot of connections or combinations early, he certainly did in this third round.
You know, a little takedown defense there, but you see he gets taken down and he keeps his composure. Phillips does and reverses that takedown right away. But Grundy gets the win, well deserved, great fight.